guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and today is September 23rd, and it's 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, what I am going to do is go over the post from Q for today, and at this point, it only is one post. There only is one post. So, and also, I wanted to let you guys know, because I was reading through the comments, and actually, if truth be known, I started to cry, because not a bad cry, a good cry. It's just the realization that, you know what, there are people out there that care and really are praying. So I that really touched me, and I appreciate it more than any of you will ever know. But I also felt an obligation, because I know a lot of you have been with me from the beginning, and I saw a couple comments like, oh, I hope it's not terminal. No, it's not terminal, but it is extremely serious. Yesterday I took my mom to get her a pedicure. She's elderly and has trouble getting down to her feet, so I either paint her toes for her or take her to get a pedicure. And while I was there, my pulse rate and my blood pressure dropped to a level that I was barely conscious. And so from that time, I have been having my blood pressure and my pulse monitored every half hour, and it has continued to go down. It has not gone down that low again. Thank you, Lord. But it is going down very low. My pulse is going down to around 50 beats per minute, which is way too low. And so there's an issue, and it jumps up really high, and then it drops really low. And what the issue appears to be, it appears as if I would need a pacemaker. Now, that's a little disconcerting to me, because I am a little young to be needing a pacemaker, but you do what you got to do, and so be it. And anyway, that is what the issue is. I felt that I should share that with you guys. So please pray if you're so inclined, because until that is solved, I have a very serious issue on my hands. In fact, in the last video, at the very end, my pulse rate and my blood pressure were dropping, and I could not remember what the word sensor was. That was the word that I was reaching for. It's a very scary feeling, because what happens is when your blood pressure and your pulse rate drop, your cognitive abilities also decline. So it is a very disconcerting and scary feeling. Anyway, it's temporary, and I am thankful to God that I don't have cancer or anything of that nature, and that it is fixable. So there you go. That's that, and we're going to move on. But I thought that I would at least take the time, that since you guys were being so good and so kind, and so many of you, were mentioning that you would pray for me or have prayed for me, that I owed you that explanation. So let's move on now, because you're here to hear about Q, not about me. Anyway, although I know you care. I really do. And I care about you guys too. I really do. I honestly, and I say this all the time, that I feel like I've got the best listeners on YouTube. Very rarely is there anyone rude or obnoxious or whatever. I just have a good group of people that listen, and I feel blessed. I feel blessed about that, over that and for that and whatever. So let's go on with this Q post, because it's interesting. Now, Q, first of all, makes reference to this post from September 21st. And in the post from September 21st, he was making reference to another post from September 10th, where he was talking about the D-class of FISA will initiate the resignation / recusal and or removal of Rod Rosenstein, blah, blah, blah. So we have gone over that before, and I don't see any reason to go over that part again. But underneath, Q had said, Step 1, read the first sentence. Step 2, read the New York Times article. Okay, we've already gone over this, but Q is referring to this in his new drop from today. And again, at this point, this is the only post that Q has initiated for today, but we will keep our eyes. I hate when I say that. I keep our eyes peeled, because doesn't that sound painful? My mother, I picked that up from my mother, because that's who always says that. She always goes, keep your eyes peeled. And it just sounds disgusting, because I just think of grapes, when you take the little skin off them. Anyway, let's go on with Q, because you're not here about, you don't want to hear about peeling eyes either, or eyes being peeled, as the case may be. All right, now, September 23rd, here we go. D class of FISA equals Rod Rosenstein self-incrimination. Okay, so whatever is in that FISA document that has been redacted, it contains self-incriminating evidence against Rod Rosenstein. Okay, now Rod Rosenstein normally would be in charge of the declassification. However, there's a conflict of interest there, right? Because no wonder he doesn't want it declassified, because it contains incriminating evidence against him. So why would he want to incriminate himself? So of course, there is a huge conflict of interest. So Inspector General Horowitz has been tasked to review the redactions, because there may be things in there that are redacted for good reasons, and those may remain redacted. If it's in the interest of national safety and security, of course, we want that redacted as well. We want our country safe, but the main concern here was that the things that were redacted to protect people that should not be protected. And that's what the concern is. And so most, if not all, of this will probably be unredacted. I don't even know if that's a word. But anyway, declassified, I guess, is the best way of terming it. And IG Horowitz is in charge of that. He's been tasked to review that. And one of the reasons is for speed and prevent left, endanger sources and methods, plus Mueller interference narrative. So it's going to prevent the left from endangering the sources and methods and Mueller interference. I would assume that that's what Q is meaning there. And then he says it will all come out. And when Q says all, I think that's exactly what he means, all. It will all come out. POTUS will not be baited to fire. Okay, they're trying to bait him to fire Rod Rosenstein. Why? Why are they trying to do that? Because then they can say, oh, he's crossed the red line. I think we need to get him out of office because he's clearly crazy. He's nuts. He's out of control here. We need to do something about him. We need to, have him removed from office under Amendment 25 that says that if he is compromised health-wise or compromised mentally, or in some other way unable to, do his duties, then he is to be removed. And that is Amendment 25. And that's what they're trying to bait POTUS into firing Rod Rosenstein so that they can say, oh, he's crossed that red line. But why on earth would he do that? Why would POTUS, succumb to that, being baited? Why would he succumb to being baited when he already knows that when the FISA redactions are removed and it's declassified, that Rod Rosenstein is going to incriminate himself. So, because, and he says here, POTUS will not be baited to fire when the release itself will force resignation/termination of Rod Rosenstein. Yeah, he's going to do it to himself. POTUS doesn't have to lift a finger. So why would POTUS endanger himself, and open himself up to that, all that, when just releasing the FISA document in its entirety, it's going to force his resignation and termination. And it says UK, Australia, plus others must learn the true definition of ally. Yeah, they haven't been acting very much like an ally, have they? And I would include Canada in there, and possibly New Zealand, definitely the UK and Australia, but I suspect Canada as well. I will be highly, highly shocked if Canada is not involved in this somehow. Highly shocked. Anyway, Rod Rosenstein prevented Force from signing new FISAs. So what Q is saying here is that Rod Rosenstein, he's been prevented. They forced him. He's not allowed to sign new FISAs. Okay, he's prevented. He can't. He doesn't have that. That power has been removed from him. All signers are currently under a grand jury. Now that's good news. And we've heard that before from Q, but it's good news. We want them to be. We want them to be under investigation. We want it to be investigated fully. So all signers are currently under grand jury investigation. McCabe memos, and this is, in regards to the New York Times and the Rod Rosenstein article, prove the rats are panicking. Yeah. So the memos, the New York Times, the Rod Rosenstein article, that's proof as far as Q is concerned, and that's what Q is telling us. He should know that the rats are panicking. 2018 will be glorious. And now we've only got September, October, 4 more months, but, oops, sorry, I just hit that. 4 months is plenty of time to be glorious. Heck, I could be glorious in 1 day. I don't know. You ever have just one of those days? It's just like absolutely awesome. I had one of those days recently and it was glorious, so you don't need a whole year to be glorious. We can be glorious in 4 months. And then here is the next line, which I think probably is confusing a lot of people. And I will tell you what I think it means. Now, whether I'm right, I don't know, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. You can see what you think. I mean, probably soon enough we'll know for sure, but I'll give you my take on it. And that line is this: prepare for Sky is Falling week. Prepare for Sky is Falling week. Now, let me tell you, Rod Rosenstein, I'm just going to sum this up. Rod Rosenstein will be forced to resign once the declassified FISA is made available. Horowitz is the one going through the declassification process since Rod Rosenstein's power has been removed. And actually, it's more than that. It's more that it's a conflict of interest. Okay, Comey and McCabe used the Rod Rosenstein wiretap Amendment 25 New York Times story to goad or bait POTUS into crossing the red line and firing Rod Rosenstein. However, I don't know what, I must have been on drugs when I wrote this. However, POTUS does not need to fire him now, as the unclassified FISA document will provide all the grounds he needs. Okay, so why would POTUS need to open himself up to that? He doesn't. The FISA document provides all the grounds. It's going to be very, very evident that Rod Rosenstein needs to resign or be fired. And FISA signers are all under grand jury investigation. UK, Australia, and others are cooperating. I stuck this in here because I thought it was interesting. This post is an outline, but I digress. Many thoughts that POTUS was backing down on the declassification. Here, Q's dialogue tells of the intent to avoid the pressure to fire Rod Rosenstein by being patient and waiting for Inspector General Horowitz to release the once classified and or redacted data sets. Horowitz was the go-to to prevent the left from using its playbook, which would doubtless include efforts to expose the ways and means that this effort continues to expose corruption in D.C. This will also negate any Mueller talking points from slowing the process. Everything will be exposed and Rosenstein will have to step down. Rod Rosenstein was forced into a position whereby continued efforts at FISA warrant applications and or continuances had to be stopped. The signers are under grand jury investigation now. McCabe leaked to the New York Times, and this shows how there is a panicked effort by each of the conspirators to salvage what they can of any hope of leniency in the coming trials. It is happening. Trust the plan. Now, let's get to the sky is falling part. What could that mean? Well, I'll tell you what I think it means. And we're going to go out there right now. What is Sky? Sky TV is a pan-European British media and telecommunications company headquartered in London. It has operations in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, Austria, Italy, and Spain. Sky is Europe's biggest and leading media company and largest pay TV broadcaster with 21 million subscribers and 30,000 employees as of 2015. Initially formed in 1990 by the equal merger of Sky Television and British Satellite Broadcasting, B-Sky B, became the UK's largest digital subscription television company in 2014 after completing the acquisition of Sky Italia and Sky Deutschland. The merged company changed its name to Sky PLC. I don't know what the PLC stands for, to tell you the truth. Anyway, Sky is listed on the London Stock Exchange and is a constituent of FTSE 100 index. It has a market capitalization of approximately 18.75 billion as of 2015. Now, Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox owned 39.14% controlling stake in the company on 9th of December 2016, following a previous attempt under News Corporation that was affected by the News International phone hacking scandal. 21st Century Fox announced it had agreed to buy the remainder of Sky pending government approval. As of July 2017, it has been subject to government review. The Walt Disney Company announced in December 2017 that it would in turn acquire 21st Century Fox, including the Sky stake. But Comcast made its own counter offers to acquire Sky instead of Fox. Comcast ultimately won a blind auction ordered by the panel on takeovers and mergers, and this is happening now. All right, so Comcast is the new owner, and of course, you're saying, who's Comcast? I think we've all heard of Comcast, but Comcast Corporation, formerly registered as Comcast Holding, is an American global telecommunications conglomerate headquartered in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It is the second largest broadcasting and cable television company in the world by revenue and the second largest pay TV company after AT&T, the largest cable TV company and largest home internet service provider in the United States, and the nation's third largest home telephone service provider. Comcast services U.S. residential and commercial customers in 40 states and in the District of Columbia. Interesting. As the owner of the international media company NBC Universal since 2011, Comcast is a producer of feature films and television programs intended for theatrical exhibition and over-the-air and cable television broadcast, respectively. Okay, I'm not going to get into all of the nitty-gritties there because it's not important, but the sky is literally falling this week because Comcast has bought Sky. Comcast being, what did it say, the second largest broadcasting and cable television company. Maybe this will make it the first, I don't know. But it's interesting that it's being bought by an American company. And I personally think since this is now happening, this week happening, that this is what Q is talking about, because it makes the most sense. Because we know that the sky is not literally falling, nor can it literally fall, unless there is another explanation. Is there an expected meteor? Is there a satellite up there that's expected to fall? I don't know. I haven't heard that, but those would be my other two thoughts of possibilities, that there may be a meteorite, or the satellites only stay up there for so long and then they fall. What goes up must come down. And anyway, so those would be my other two thoughts. And I did even look into the acronyms for sky, thinking that sky might not be actual sky, but this to me seems the most likely explanation, and it's the explanation that I'm going to stick with until we know for sure from Q. But that would be my thoughts, and if anyone has any other thoughts, I would be more than welcome to hear them, because we learn from each other. None of us have all the answers, and I hope none of us ever do. I really, because then we wouldn't need each other, would we? If we knew everything. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I may do another video if my strength continues. I may do another video tonight on Q-related news or so forth, because there is a lot happening, a lot. So that's it for now, though, and I do hope that you have a wonderful night, and I pray that you remain in good health and stay safe.